Well, Frank says I'm supposed to say something about the church and about me, and it's going to be real brief. I was raised in this church and been here for a good number of years, and there's been a lot of changes in the church, the new structures and everything like that. But it's still my home church, and I love it here, and I wouldn't think about going anyplace else. It's, as the old saying goes, it's home. And there's wonderful people here. There always has been, and I'm sure there always will be. And it's really great. It's really great to say that I'm a member of First Baptist Church of LaFollette.
Been here about 65 years, and the first pastor when I became a member was Brother Aldrich, and he was a wonderful pastor. And then after he left, I guess we got burned flowers. After the war, you know, and people were going to church, it's not unusual for the church to be pretty well filled up on Sundays. Well, I was a young bride. That's when I started here. My husband's family were members of this church, so that's why Mr. and Mrs. Paris, or M.P. Bollinger Sr., he was county court clerk, and I married Junior. He had been in college 4 years and in the Army 43 months, and came back to town, was working at People's Bank, and I met him and we got married. It's always been a loving church to me. I was the youngest member in the Sunday school class when I first started going to an adult class, and it seemed like everybody was so good to me. They were a good bit older because I had married young, and they were all married. Helen Margaret Salisbury, and people on her age group, and now she's 92, and she was 10, they were about 10 years older than I was, some of them, and some more than that. Mildred Reynolds was in the class. Just a lot of godly women that, and Mrs. Verman Gross, she was one excellent lady. So was Miss Maggie Claiborne, Mrs. Icy Russell, and Miss Parrott. Oh, they were just such a wonderful group of ladies.
And I'd tell you a story about Helen Margaret. You know, she had a place that if you got her seat, she'd say, "I'm sorry, but you have my seat." And she pretty much liked that seat. But I can think of those same people. Sarah Claiborne was a RA leader, and we had a swimming hole that we were building the RAs up at Chambers Branch, and we'd hike from here up to Chambers Branch. That's where Carr's Dairy was on the right. Arnold's on all that land now up the valley. And we were fixing a swimming hole, and we were going to camp that night, and we were going to cook out. And of course she hiked right up there with us, and we enjoyed making the swimming hole and seeing the water raise up a little bit. And but here came Sarah Bett. She had a log that looked solid as it could be, and it looked like it was probably 18 inches or closer to 24 inches in diameter, and she had it up over her head bringing it for the campfire. and all us boys said, "Miss Claiborne, you're going to hurt yourself carrying a log that large." And come to find out, the log was hollow, and it didn't weigh very much at all, but she got a big kick out of that.
I believe 38 years now, and just Reverend Reynolds and Donna LaBelle. Reynolds married me in this church and raised my son here. I came from up north and visited a couple of churches before I came here. And when I walked in this church, I felt like I was at home. The people made me feel very welcome, and I love the fact that there was a lot of young people in the church. It did make a difference because I was able to see where they were going to carry on the Christian name. It was something that was important to me to have my son here, because I wanted him to be in that environment. He was young, and you know, kids can be influenced by good or bad, and I believe this church really did help him. I know it helped me, and Faye Clausen was my Sunday school teacher for 37 years, and I was in with Margie. I went to classes at Margie's home that really, really touched my heart. I fell in love with Raymond and Margie because they're very special people. And you don't have to say that I'm a Christian. You were able to look at Margie and Raymond and knew right away that they're Christian. And that's the way I felt about a lot of people in this church. And June Warren was the cook at that time. And I used to come down and try to help her cook, and we would have a lot of fun here. And like I said, it's a warm environment, heart-wrenching, heart-touching, sweet church.
We come that time in did 75, around that time, and you know how the ministers all come out they hear you new person in town, and he had come out, Brother Reynolds, and I found out he was a thief. The next Sunday when I went to church, he met me and he said, "Oh," he said, "I wouldn't have known you. You look so different than when you were at home. Here at home I had on shorts and I don't know what all, you know, and here then I come ready for church." And that's just the way he was all our lives, and we went to the Holy Land together and did so many things together. And but the whole congregation was like that. Just welcome you, and you just felt at home.
church definitely had a real impact. Mother and father were regular attendees, members of course, and my mother taught school for a long time and retired from that. But there were a lot of good people. I remember the church being most Sundays pretty full, if not full. One thing we had back then we don't have much of now was revivals. Those are pretty scary to little boys, and and little larger boys too. I guess as you got a little older, they got even more scary sometimes because most of the preachers back then didn't mince many words. You know, they were pretty direct about what might happen if you don't do what the Lord wants you to do. So we don't have that so much anymore. Maybe we need to do that more.